The Murray cod is Australia's largest and best known freshwater fish. In spite of its iconic status, in recent decades overfishing, loss of habitat and the battle against European carp led to fears that the Murray cod could be wiped out. This led to a commercial fishing ban for cod in 2003, and since then it's dropped off the radar as a table species for many people on the coast. Nowadays, however, it seems that aquaculture is starting to put Murray cod back on the menu.
It was a key food source for the inland for many, many years. So we've seen that decline in the commercial fishery, and we've actually seen the banning of the take of Murray cod in the commercial fishery, so fishermen can no longer take it. So that market segment's gone, so there is an opportunity for aquaculture to move into that market.
Ian Lyall is the manager of aquaculture at Port Stephens Fisheries Institute. He believes that after 35 years of research and development, Murray cod is ripe for success as an aquaculture species.
Murray cod is an icon. It is one of the best eating fish in Australia, and not too many people know about it. And I guess it's got an interesting history with aquaculture development in Australia. The hatchery techniques were developed in the late 70s and through fisheries work at Miranda Fisheries Centre, and then transferred to the private sector. So we've seen a healthy industry growing Murray cod fingerlings and then stocking them for farm dams, etc. But that taking the animal then to produce it on a commercial scale for food fish was a whole new kettle of fish. But in the last 20 years, we've really seen the native fish industry develop quite strongly. There are a few industry pioneers out there in the Murray cod industry who took that fish and developed the technology to rear the fingerlings onto supplementary feed. And that was a real achievement. None of that technology was developed for Murray cod, so it was developed by the private sector.
One such pioneer is Bruce Malcolm from Uarah Fisheries in Grong Grong in the New South Wales Riverina.
We started Uarah Fisheries in 1977. It took 2 years with fighting with the Fisheries Department back then to actually get permits to allow us to start the business. They told us that we wouldn't be successful, and when we proved them wrong, then it became very easy for other people to get permits. They're a high order carnivore, so what we had to do was to actually change the fish, the nature of the fish, into more a schooling fish, and then we had to work out how to get the fish to take an artificial diet, because if you just tried to feed an artificial diet, they wouldn't touch it, they'd just starve.
The life cycle of a farm Murray cod, from egg to table-sized fish, takes between 2 and 3 years.
The cod spawn in receptacles in the ponds, and then we collect the receptacles, bring them to the hatchery, and then we remove the sheets of eggs from the receptacles. They're adhesive eggs, and then we place them in the incubators, and they're in there for 7 to 10 days, depending on temperature, and that's how long it takes them to hatch. Once they've hatched, we transfer the larvae to baskets in trays to absorb their yolk sac, and that takes a further 10 days. And once they've absorbed their yolk and they're ready to feed, they swim up into the water column, and we then transfer them to larval rearing ponds, which have been prepared about 2 weeks prior. This is our small research system that we use for weaning the cod onto a dry diet, and they're running here for around 3 months. The fish have been transferred from the weaning system to the growing system. These tanks here, they're around 80 cubic metres each. At the moment we've got around 3 tonnes of fish in each tank.
After being harvested, these fish will end up in Sydney, where they will be purchased by restaurants for their firm flesh and rich flavour.
It is one of the highest priced freshwater fish in the market, and it's renowned with anglers as its eating quality, and regarded by some international chefs as one of the best freshwater table fish in the world.
With recent figures indicating that Australia imports 72% of its seafood and up to 85% in New South Wales, Fisheries has identified aquaculture as a vital part of our future food security.
We have an established commercial fishery, but that's not meeting the demands of the state. So we either rely upon imports to meet the demand in New South Wales, or we try and encourage sustainable seafood production.
While not all species farm as well as they grow in the wild, it's examples like Murray cod where Australia can benefit from aquaculture.
They still retain the flavours of the wild fish, but in a domesticated situation. So the future's looking pretty bright for Murray cod.